Cool. Hey, it's Narrative Tarot. So I'm back with another video. So this video is about my unique decks or interesting decks that I use to do tarot and to do like readings that are like on my Instagram and stuff like that. And you'll see them in the future if I do readings, because like I said, I do my watch other videos about cards and deck bondings and stuff. They should be up if I remember correctly. But how I pick, how I read is by planet, and then how I pick decks is by planet as well. So when I get a deck, I assign planetary aspects to them, like planets and planetary aspects to them, and houses, and that lets me know what the decks kind of want to do, as opposed to me just using them to use them. It's what the deck kind of wants to impart, how they want to impart it, right? So if a deck is for Mars, then if I'm doing a Venus reading, a Jupiter reading, or Saturn reading, I'm probably not going to use that deck, because the messages that come through that deck don't want to be for those readings unless they switch. Because I've had decks that kind of like switch energies. I've had decks when I feel them become like fatigued. My personal deck that I still have it, but I don't really read with it often. It actually aged, so it's kind of like, I don't really see it as like not having life force, but I just see it as it's aged, and so it doesn't really want to be used too much. It can't do like the heavy lifting. It's just there, kind of like an object that I'm bonding with. So I'm happy to still have my zombie tarot deck, but I don't use it as often, and I probably overused it in the past, but I was new. And I need to like do cleansings for all my decks because it's been a minute, so there's that. But without further ado, the first deck in my unique or interesting decks that I have is the Awakening Aeon. I forget how to pronounce this one, but it's this. It's by, what's her first name? It's by Marsha O'Hara, and the text is by Ingrid Coffin. So that's what it looks like. It's on Etsy, and it's like this, right? In the back. So basically, it's like collages that she ended up like taking pictures of or scanning, and then each card is assigned. So this is the devil, and the cool thing about this is, besides the art, I have to be visually captivated by something anyway in order to keep it as a deck. But what's interesting is that each card not only has like this like correspondences and stuff like that for planets, but it has I Ching here, and then like hidden in the cards. So like this is the I Ching, and then this is the I Ching, if you can see. So here's another one, more simple and straightforward. So the Magician, there's the I Ching, and then that's the bottom. And so when you do look up the I Ching, there's usually like a keyword that goes with it. So helpful. So this is a Mars deck to me. I was just thinking about this a few seconds ago, that the act of thinking over something is a Mars action in and of itself. And so I really enjoy this one. I enjoy it because it mixes a few different elements that people aren't necessarily using at the same time. Not that people aren't aware of them, but not a lot of people use I Ching and like tarot together. They're two very different systems, but I think it's a cool way of looking at things, and I like that it's collage. So that's one of like the few collage ones in my thing. Next isn't a deck at all. It's the Pantone 100 postcards, And I got this at Barnes & Noble because I'm interested in fashion. I wanted to do fashion. I'm kind of glad I didn't though. It's a very intense field, but it's 100 postcards. And if you know about fashion and Pantone, you know that they come out with the color of the year. So they did 2 colors one year, and it was like the first time they did it. But the color of the year basically signals the trend that you're about to see in like the stores. So if you pick like this color for the color of the year, chances are you'll start to see a lot of this color or variants of that color. Same thing with like prints and stuff. The reason I use color decks is because I did have an interest at one point in time about auras and seeing auras and feeling auras and different colors and things like that. Sensing color, sensing energy as a color, and I'm just very drawn to color in general. So it's really interesting to kind of get the feeling around you, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you try to sense like what something is, and sometimes it's a color that you're sensing and it's drawing you to it or repulsing you or something like that. I also find that when it comes to omens or comes to like predictive models or predicting something, like if you start seeing a certain color, just like you start seeing a certain animal or seeing a certain word or hearing a song or something like that, when you start seeing specific colors, it could tell you whether or not something's coming, whether or not it's a warning. You know, if you see a lot of red, maybe it's a warning that you shouldn't be doing something, or something is coming that you need to prepare for. So that's the second. Ooh, hopefully I don't drink this. This one I don't really do for readings like that, but it is interesting to note because I do like to write. But this is if you kind of want more prompts. So it's the observation deck. Haha, I just got it. Okay. A toolkit for writers by Naomi Apple. So it's this. It offers inspiration and practical advice for today's greatest writers. 50 cards designed to help you break through writer's block. 50 chapters with practical strategies for all writers at all levels of experience. So this is what the front looks like, or this is what the back looks like, and then this is what the cards look like. So they just have different prompts. So eliminate words, conduct an interview, dedicate. So you can do something like this. This is more like planning tarot prompts and stuff. So you could maybe pick a card and then pick a tarot card and then journal based off that, or do automatic writing or some sort of meditation, or you know, some sort of more inner work, or if you're coaching somebody, things that they can do to help facilitate their healing and their journey. Ask a question. That's dedicate again. Zoom in and out. So I enjoy this. I don't think you would use it for very serious issues, or very, I'm not going to say serious, very heavy topics and issues. Like I wouldn't give this to like an assault victim, right? Zoom in and out. Like I think it's more for somebody who maybe wants to get over certain blocks, maybe like finances or their career, or you know, lower level disagreements with family, when you need to not be reactive, emotional kind of things, but not necessarily very large, catastrophic, very life-altering events. So there's that. Next is the Oracle of Dr. John Dee. That's what it looks like. So I'm gonna read the back. I don't read anything, y'all, because I didn't. Dr. John Dee was arguably the most famous of Elizabethan visionaries as magician and alchemist, astrologer, and mathematician, physicist, and philosopher. He straddled the worlds of science and magic with his insatiable thirst for knowledge. This remarkable oracle offers insight and wisdom drawn from Dee's quest for understanding to guide you on your life journey today. So it's 28 cards depicting Dee in 7 archetypal roles with other key luminaries in each realm. Francis Drake, Johann Kepler, Hippocrates, yeah. So it's different perspectives to each issue at hand, offers further guidance from angelic sources, a central theme in Dee's ongoing revelatory quest. So use the cards in conjunction with the talisman template provided based on Dee's own golden talisman. Never used it. And will gain you will gain illumination from one of the greatest thinkers of the past. So this is actually really good. If you want one that gives you questions, like good questions, choose this, because I linked this to Jupiter, and I mean I can guess a little bit of Mercury, but Jupiter for me, it's very, I think, expansive in that way. It's about asking you questions that cause you to think and expand. So this is the back of the card. Pretty cool. And this is the front of the card. So it has, let's go through it. It has, and the reason I never used it, because it comes with a map thing that there you go. The thing that you're supposed to use, but I don't use it because I never have enough space. You should see behind me, behind this camera, yeah, it's, So they have the different archetypes that they said. So the magus, the alchemist, the astronomer, the astrologer, the geographer, the physician, the historian. And then, you're supposed to expand this and do all of that. And then you have silver, green, gold, and red. Yeah. So each of those 7 archetypes also has a color as well. So like I said, it's 28 different combinations of stuff, but it's really good. I really enjoy it. I think if someone wants to do that and you pull one card and you just look at the questions that the card for that day ask you to answer, and it's 5 of them, you'll be pretty darn good. Next is the Cyber Deck Tarot for the Future. I have not used this deck like that, and when I got it I was mad as shit because I was like, the artwork on here, and the deck got mad at me too, but the artwork on here, I feel like it's trash. And I don't know, because it's I accept wonky art, but it just felt disappointed. I don't know, I feel like I don't mind things like pixelation and stuff like that. Maybe it's I need to actually really sit down with this deck, because I was disappointed getting this deck. I knew what it kind of looked like, but I don't know why I thought it was bigger and therefore more detail can come out. You see? It's a very interesting deck. But it's maybe I just don't know how to use it. This is very Aquarian type shit to me, so I'm this is not me. But I've used it a few times, but not really. I'm still trying to figure this out, but it's in my collection. It's not one of the ones I sold, so there's a reason. So there's that. It's pocket size, so it can travel with you. It is on eBay if you want it. I think it would be good if you were somebody who was exploring technology. If you're one of those red pill, blue pill kind of people, that's probably something that does. Oh, it does deal with that. Okay, it is saying that it deals with shit like that. Okay, so unlocking your mind, blocks, spiritual and otherwise. And it has the Eye of Horus too. So, mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. Never sat down with this deck long enough to pick up. Okay. This deck would like to say that it deals with the ways in which the world programs you and ways to deprogram yourself, or the series of events that will lead you to being unplugged. Essentially, it has a keen interest on you being unplugged. It's not that it's like extremely loyal to you, but it's very invested in you being unplugged. If you get what I'm saying there. Yeah. It's invested. It's almost like if you don't do it, certain events don't happen that affect other people. That's what this deck is. Like, there's an urgency in that. Like, I'm like, my friend was talking about, like, watch The Matrix and shit like that. I've never looked at The Matrix. I wasn't interested. Maybe this deck is telling me to watch the fucking Matrix. And maybe you like The Matrix. So if you like The Matrix, get this deck, y'all. See, I knew it was the reason I didn't throw that shit away. This one, I forget. It's called the Dakini Oracle. I should have this up. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, and we're back. So, this deck is pretty cool. It comes with the book, but I don't know where the book is now for this. But it's the Tantric Dakini Oracle. You can find it online. I forget how many cards it is, but this one is another one I haven't really used. But I feel like it's more related to your higher self. What your higher self is kind of doing. What they want to tell you. And then looking at this, this one deals with like energy portals. Like if you go certain places and then like they're energy portals, like this shit is like about that. Like what you're feeling. Very wrapped up in mythology as well, based on this, but like it's still like it's energy portals, and it's not necessarily like because of the pictures necessarily like huge monuments, but you like sometimes you go to places and you're like, what is that fucking feeling like? It's because it's like energy vortexes and shit and energy portals. The animist in me is aware of that. Like portals that you want to step through. And this is an aside. I was watching what's her name? Your Angelic Karma, and she was like, I don't even know what episode it is, but she was talking about, what was she talking about? She was talking about something, and something in my mind like look, like it was like this deja vu. I was like, I've been here before. I was like, what is this? And it's the same thing. You ever have that where you're like, not necessarily you go somewhere and you're like, I've been here before, but like you've talked about the same topic, but it's like you never figure out the topic. Like it's like as soon as you remember, I remember this, it's like it's gone and you cannot like remember. Like I don't even remember what it is, and it's something that's probably like you're gonna learn eventually. Reset. Like it's just like no. Gotta start the day all over. Gotta start the whole thing all over. Like no, I'm trapped. Let me out. And so the next one is the Pathways. It looks like it's like a hexagon shape, right? So it's Pathways to your inner wisdom. So Pathways is an interactive oracle that opens you up to your intuition, inner voice, and true path. The cards are a unique hexagon shape comprised of open and closed borders encompassing a myriad of undefined symbols. It is up to you how you put the cards together. Let your intuition take over and then uncover your inner wisdom and true path. Pathways is a creative tool for the self, couples, friends, therapists, coaches, and anyone seeking a fun, intuitive tool to activate their inner wisdom. And they have their website if you want to go to. I don't even know if the website's active anymore, but I got this on like eBay or something. This is what they look like. And y'all, I'm very like into like decks like this. So I'm into decks that have this kind of stuff because this is exactly what I draw. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I'm into as far as drawing. And I feel like stuff like this is meant to be encoded. So, like, if you do Reiki, this is an aside, but I feel like the future of Reiki is you'll be able to impart. Okay, let's back up. So in Reiki, you have symbols, right? And each symbol has a specific meaning and serves a purpose. So like Chokure is like the basic one that you start out with. It's kind of like protective and stuff like that. And then there's the one for distance, the one for like emotional healing, and then there's some others depending on like where you go. But I feel like in the future, people are going to be able to do their own symbols, essentially. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I sense with that. I feel like people are going to be able to do their own symbols. I feel like people are going to be able to channel different Reikis based on zodiac energies, specifically Chinese zodiac for some reason. And it's going to be really interesting. Sometimes I like spontaneously Reiki as well. Like, I'll just like have my hand out and then I'll feel it like pulsing. And I'm like, what are we doing? But this is... I feel like if you were to activate this whole structure has like a Reiki like capability for me to encode it into your body, and then your body takes the information and runs it through your DNA, and that's how you end up having like information to go off of. So, you know, did we go out there? How far did we go out? And my solar plexus is buzzing. I think it's about to be that time of the month also. Next is Get Fit card kit. I thought it said grad kit. I was like, grad kit? What the hell? These are not tarot as well. Like, at all. These are actually cards that I got from the dollar store. And they tell you different exercises on them. None of these are, yeah. If you saw me in person, you'd be like, girl, you have never used these a day in your life. I haven't. And it's because I don't exercise. So, and I have a kid's version too. The reason I got these is it's not for the medical intuitive stuff. I actually was interested in reflexology, but I'm also interested in learning meridians and Chinese like medicine energy system. And I find that me looking at this, I just see the lines and the diagrams from the meridians. So that's why I got these. It's less about like, girl, you need to work out. Like, I can go online and get exercises for all that. But it was something about meridians that drew me to this thing. Hold on for a sec. So I'm drawn to this for that reason. I have a lot of interest, if you guys like don't know. Like a lot. But it's called Get Fit, and it was at Dollar Tree, because you know, like, every dollar store is like different. There's like Dollar General, Family Dollar, which isn't a dollar. Like, they need to stop playing. Dollar General isn't even a dollar. The only one that's actually Dollar Tree is the actual one, I think, that's only $1. So yeah, it's at that one. But if you find it, like, try it. particularly if you're working with energy medicine and stuff like that. You might like it. Next is my cloud deck, and I'm very disappointed with the cloud deck. I think it's because I think on eBay, you gotta be careful on eBay because like there's some decks that are like, I have the Shadowscape Tarot and I saw it on eBay, but I could tell that it was like a fake. And not that I don't think that these are the real cloud cards as far as like the concept of the show. I was into Card Captors, Sakura. I was not into Sailor Moon. But I feel like I knew what Sailor Moon was at that age, but I wasn't watching it. I was watching this. I was watching Eden Glitz version of Card Captors, the dubbed version that everybody shit on. But this deck, this concept of this deck and the show stuck in my mind, and I think I need to like talk about that too. I think I'm gonna do that. The concept of this stuck in my mind for so long that I wanted a cloud deck. I got this online, and I mean, it has like these Chinese characters at the top. So if I ever go to Japan, actually, let's just say this: I'm going to Japan, and when I go to Japan, I'm going to get a cloud deck from Japan because that will culminate in that experience. Now, I haven't had any issues with this. I just feel like it was just a little bit misrepresented when it comes to online. But I use this deck for moon readings. It gives me a moon vibe. So each card has a different like energy thing to it. The concept of Card Captors is basically there's a little girl and she finds this book, and when she opens it up, all these cards pop out, and each card has this certain energy that wreaks havoc, and she has to put it back in the thing. That's the premise. The thing about that is there's other people that are getting the cards as well. So it's kind of like depending on like who the card chooses to go to, like even if you fought for the card, like if somebody else is supposed to get the card, they get the card instead. But I like it, and it's like a cultural classic in Japan, so lastly, we're free. We're free. Actually, I might do one more card. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Paracelsus Dream Tarot. This, I feel like if you're really heavy into like Hermetic Tarot and stuff like that, Thoth maybe, but Hermetic Tarot, like that deck, or Benabel Wins Spirits Tarot, I think it's called. You'll probably like this as well. So, but this deck is it's not dark, but in my mind, I hear like organ music playing and like somebody in a cloak playing organ. I find that it's a Mercury deck. It's very communicative, but it's very abstract. Like you gotta really read between the lines with this, and because it has words on it as well, you gotta read the words. There is some like legibility issues because of like the type that they use, but I like it. It's not a deck that I think a beginner would like at all, but you have to be in the right mind state to like want to do this want to like deal with this deck, because depending on how fatigued you are mentally, like if you get a card and you just want a simple answer, I don't really feel like this gives you a simple answer. This gives you an answer that you really gotta like sit down and ponder. Like I feel like it's like a math equation it's like you pick a card and it becomes like a math equation, and you gotta like solve the math equation. It's not simple to me. That's probably why I stay away from it. But it's also related to like music for me. So if you're like a music buff and you're into like geometry and music, more like abstract in that way, I guess. Like check it out. I'll probably get used to it. Also, if you're like into singing bowls, I found that like if you connect with it and talk to it, it'll tell you what sort of singing bowl that you need to use to clean up certain energy because it deals with that. This is definitely the air element all the way. And so sound is a part of that. So it also draws on topics of like what is man, what is life, what is death, like very philosophical. Like you have to sit here and like it's not asking you to have a discussion with it as far as like what is death and then you like rattle it off, but it's kind of like if you were to have a genie and then instead of you asking for things, it's going to ask you things, but it's not going to wait for you to reply. It's going to disappear. And then like that whole journey that you spend figuring it out, when you figure it out, it'll reappear and grant you the wish, which hopefully if you understood the question and then you gave the right answer based on where you went in your journey, you'll be able to figure it out and be rewarded. And that's what it's looking for. It's looking for you to intellectually journey and do that. And that's exactly how it sounds. It's very circuitous. Yeah, it is. You'll end up right back where you started. And then you'll be like, you really told me to do that and I just arrived back. But the way that you arrive back is very interesting. And I got one more. Hold on. Oh, I'm running out of space, but hold on. Two more. The Voyager Tarot. This is a Uranus deck for me. If you want to connect with objects, past life objects, objects where people's souls are trapped. This is a good one. This is a really good one. Like I swear, if you think that objects don't have like entities in them, spirits in them, this deck tells you that. Very extraterrestrial. And it's something where like if you don't understand that the energy is imposing its kind of pheromones into the atmosphere, it's like that. So it's very silent, it's very mysterious. My solar plexus is kind of buzzing. I feel like it's buzzing. Kind of I feel unstable. Magician card. High Priestess. This is all from I was like, why didn't I not introduce it? I didn't introduce this at all. Mandala